Jai Shri Krishna sabhi ko very good morning and hope you've been having a great weekend and your Sunday morning is about to get very knowledgeable and insightful. तो आज के सेशन में बेसिकली हम ये कोशिश करना चाहेंगे कि आज जो कोविड की वजह से डिसरप्शन हुआ है ओवरऑल बिजनेस साइकिल में, ऑपरेशंस में, सब में, उसे किस तरह से मतलब आप लॉजिस्टिक्स की तरफ से देखें, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की तरफ से देखें, या वर्किंग कैपिटल के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें. द पॉइंट इज टू bring you insights from the best of industry experts to help you learn how to move around and mold according to the scenario. But before we move on to the session, I would first want to give you a little brief around MVPM and what the series is all about. So MVPM is a young non-profit education which has now been like in existence for 90 plus years, and the sole focus of it is on devoted to the cause of education. And आज हमारे MVPM संस्था ने कई सारे डेवलपमेंट सेंटर्स, कॉलेजेस, स्कूल्स, हॉस्टल्स बनाए हैं सभी बच्चों के लिए, जो कि मुंबई, पुणे, शोलापुर, अहमदाबाद, अहमदनगर सब जगह है for students to gain the benefit of this. And in 2012, we also started with an MVPM Scholar Award Committee. And this committee has helped all scholars from different forums and fields, be it from IIT, engineers, law, chartered accountants, to come together. They have been recognized by our MVPM and they've now come together to collaborate into these knowledge sharing platforms and webinar series for you all. And we've also had the utmost benefit of being in collaboration with Mahesh Industrial Group, which is MIG. Now, MIG is a networking platform for multiple industrial experts and entrepreneurs to come together and develop together, empower new age entrepreneurs to come and start their ventures. And MIG has also provided a platform for leadership development. It is very active in multiple spheres of social, education, and cultural life at Pune. And we have had the utmost benefit of getting their support in coordinating and reaching out with multiple industry experts. We also have collaborated with Mahesh Professional Forum, which is again a community of 750 plus successful professionals from diverse fields, like be it law, architecture, or medicine, or chartered accountancy. And Samvid is one of the flagship events that MPF organizes every year to create a forum for knowledge sharing. And this series, the series of 4 events, like given the current COVID disruption, ये series जो है ये हमने basically इस तरह से focus करी है कि direct benefit आपको पहुंचे. Last week we had a series on how do kirana stores or retail stores adapt to this. Today we are going to talk specifically around the operations part of it, manufacturing, and how do you overcome that. And we also have a few more sessions planned for you around data and analytics, around what are the other inorganic growth strategies, M&A है, product diversification है. आप किस तरह से एक end-to-end पूरा overcoming का technique आपके पास एक roadmap बन जाएगा through this webinar. And so today's session will be, I'll just also introduce the moderator for our session today, Darshit Jaju. He is an engineer from IIT Roorkee who then pursued his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Darshit has also been recognized as the Economic Times Young Leaders Award in 2019. He has been our MVPM Scholar awardee in 2018. And currently he's working with the chairman's office at Aditya Birla Group. Satish ji, we are very glad to have you today. And Darshit, I'll hand over this forum to you now for initiating the discussion further.
Thanks, Saloni. Very good morning, Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. Thanks a lot for joining. And it is my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Satish Jaju. I will give a short introduction of his. So Satish ji started his career in 1983. He is a chartered accountant, and right from the beginning, he has taken roles of great opportunities from starting with heading the finance and accounts division, and in Grasim Chemicals, He has worked in various different industries from chemicals, cement, Bikram Ispat. Sorry for the technical glitch. So as I was saying, Mr. Jaju has, a vast experience spanning multiple industries from chemicals, cement. He has worked in Bikram Ispat also. Not only the industries, he has, experience working in different functions from finance, accounts, marketing, and now operations. Currently, he is Chief Operating Officer of Hindalco Industries Limited at Renu, wherein he heads over multiple he heads over multiple plants. So basically, Renukut is a fully integrated aluminum manufacturing plant in India, and it is one of the first aluminum manufacturing plants. And uh, prior to joining Hindalco, Mr. Jaju was the chief marketing officer of Ultratech Cement, and uh, I mean, in terms of manufacturing and in terms of getting a holistic view of how the manufacturing industry works, I don't think we can find any other speaker, any better speaker than his. And I welcome him and seek his guidance to help us and share his experiences so that we can all learn. As Saloni already mentioned, the purpose of this series is कि जो भी इंडस्ट्री लीडर्स ने ऑलरेडी ये जो कोविड के टाइम पे जो भी इश्यूज को डील किया है, सक्सेसफुली डील किया है, वो लेसन्स हम बाकी अदर इंडस्ट्रीज को, फैमिली बिजनेसेस, स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, उनको कैसे हम पास ऑन कर सकें एंड व्हाट कैन दे लर्न फ्रॉम मिस्टर जाजू's experience in leading a very very complex operation in India through these COVID times. So thanks a lot again, sir. Um, Satish, sir.
So, good morning, Jai Shri Krishna, to all the participants who have joined on this webinar. So, first of all, I would appreciate and this initiative of MVPM and particularly MVPM Scholar Committee to take advantage of this situation and falling back on this technology platform and reaching out to several and with noble objective of knowledge sharing and making all people coming together, understanding, sharing each other and benefiting people among large number of people. So very noble objective, very noble initiative and leveraging the technology very well and reaching out to so many people, which probably in the normal situation, nobody would have thought about it. So thanks to MVPM, thanks to MVPM Scholar Committee, and good to see that all the Scholar Committee young members are taking this lead and taking it forward for this good noble cause under the leadership of several organizing committee members. So now coming on this subject, I have been seeing this different initiative as in the few webinars which has been conducted and few more which will be conducted going forward. So I think the topics which have been selected are relevant. The current topic, it is very vast, but it is very relevant to many people. What my introduction, what has been given is not so much important, but what I say ki each one of us and every entrepreneur in this difficult time has done their best and has come out very nicely and managing the different challenges. This period of corona period, COVID-19 period is definitely a very challenging one, and the challenges have been changing from initial phase, and it was all in the people were not having any clarity, and all people were having their own anxiety level, fearfulness, and जित पहली बार सब देख रहे थे और पहली बार सुन रहे थे और पहली बार एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे थे, जितना लोग बाग बता रहे थे, जितना लोग बाग समझ में आ रहा था, लोगों ने अपने अपने हिसाब से किया, एंड वी वर जस्ट गाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टिव्स. And government has also played their role very well, reaching out to people, reaching out to all the things well in advance, and taking all possible initiatives. But it has given, under the tension, under the anxiety, or जो भी नाम बोलो, चिंता सभी को थी. और सडनली जो काम हुआ, बिजनेस डिसरप्शन हुआ, और जो खासकर जो इंडस्ट्री स्मॉल स्केल मीडियम साइज इंडस्ट्री चलाते हैं उनके लिए ज़्यादा डिसरप्शन था. बिकॉज one is they need to manage their operation, other that they need to survive, they need to come out of this, because everyone was sure that this is not going to be permanent, this will be seeing some time as end of the this pandemic. But to survive this period was a challenge, and to manage the workforce, to manage the business continuity after some time, after whenever the disruption is reduced. So we have seen those period, and I'm sure now most of us will realize and will appreciate that the bad time is over. Bad time, I would say, lockdown period, where it was almost lockdown. All industry were almost near to stoppage. Some of the industries, like big industries who had resources, who had the capability, we did not stop, and some of the operation got disrupted. But at least whatever way, we continued our operation, and there were several examples of business continuity, but there were several examples where something has to come to an halt. So there were challenges. And after some days, as we approach after 2 months, 3 months time, when we were approaching so unlock period, I think the situation started improving. Logistics, rail logistics was continuing. It was for big industry, it was a great, support, because it never stopped. There were difficulties with reference to workforce and logistic arrangements, but I think people have managed to the extent they can manage. But there were certain disruption, but that was one. Road transport came to almost to an halt, and over a period after some days, after 1 or 2 months time, there was some relaxation and things started improving. So this was the initial period. Somehow, almost throughout the country, many have survived, many have come back, and with that grit and determination, I think that is a strength, and that is a credit to all our medium size, small size entrepreneurs who continued there with all that determination. Ki yes, we will survive, and I'm sure now the economy is returning back. The situation has improved better, uh, significantly over what we have seen in the month of March, April, and May. And people are returning to normalcy. There is a good amount of maturity and understanding among all the people across at every level. And once there is a opening up, business are coming to normalcy, not 100% normalcy, but better than what they were 2 3 months ago. People are coming to taking it as a normal way of life, managing, adjusting to this corona new atmosphere. So this is something better, but still it is challenging. And in we cannot say, and we are, we many people must be hearing the caller tunes, and the caller tunes are changing from the government side with respect to COVID-19. Recently, I could hear the new caller tune, and which is very apt, which says, "Corona gaya nahi hai, Corona khatam nahi hua, और हमें ध्यान रखना." So I think this is the cornerstone, and this is the theme, and this is the spirit in which we still need to be very cautious. So coming on this, now on the theme that, tackling business challenges during COVID-19. So I begin with thanks to this fraternity of small and medium entrepreneurs for continuing the spirit, continuing the operation, managing all the challenges, coming forward, and now starting their operation or taking it to the next level and returning to normalcy. So with this, I say ki now what has been our experience? It is not only my experience at our plant, but it is the general experience. And it is not necessarily what I'm talking and what I'm telling is what we are doing. We are doing many things, but I'm not going to state all the things due to paucity of time. But some of the things which I'm talking, not necessarily we are practicing, because it all depends on the size, scale, and the size of the operation and the number of people. But the challenges are common. It may be different in terms of intensity for different people, but I think it all depends on where you are located, which operation, which industry, who are your customer, who are your market, who are your suppliers, and what is your own financial condition, how you can manage. So there are several factors which are posing challenges in continuing the operation and managing the business in the midst of these challenges, and with the determination to make it happen and to make it successful and come back on the business track.
So,
So one of the, should I continue or somebody is in?
sorry, sir, there was.
So I will, before we come on the business challenge question answer session, 2-3 things I would like to highlight, and then we can start our business question answer session. So one is, the common thing is, the first and the foremost important thing which we need to see, we all need not have to, there is no, we need to be careful, and we should not forget that Corona is not over. India has opened up, countries has opened up, and businesses we are seeing in all big cities, traffic is becoming normal, people are moving, people have started coming. But the only one point which is very surprising and which is not so satisfying is people are not adhering to the basic 3 rules of, Corona protection. So that is the need of the hour. But we see that for whatever be the compulsion, that is one thing which we see, and sometimes we feel worrisome why people don't do it. So the only request is to all, that we and our people and our employees, in whosoever are at whichever level they are working, we should not forget that Corona is still on. 3 basic Corona protection are still important. We need to be remain still focused, whether government insists or do not insist, because government has opened up, and self-discipline is becoming very important with these 3 simple protection rules of putting mask, making a social distancing rule at every place, avoiding unnecessary movements to the extent when if it is not necessarily, and third is sanitizing. These are basic things, easy to do, but unfortunately, for whatever be the reason, we don't see so much in the news or in the pictures, or people who are living in cities, they themselves must be observing it. But these are important. So particularly for those people who are running their businesses, they need to be taking first for themselves, for their family, and then to their employees and their families. So this is first. And the second is, in the midst of all this, yes, there are business challenges, there are Corona challenges. People are still, we have been managing it. There are different challenges which we will cover later if the question answer session includes it. But then while we are in the operating or manufacturing operation or business operation, first we need to be seeing, particularly in manufacturing operation, the safety at work. It should not be given a second priority, though in my view, and the first priority is protecting, taking all proactive action for Corona. Second, for us, for our people, for every people, whosoever are associated with us, including their families. Second, safety at work. And third comes the business and operating the business. In operating business, most of the people know about it, what is the success factor, what we need to be doing, how we need to be doing. So that is all fine. It doesn't require nothing. Rule of the game has not changed significantly. Whether it is operational efficiency, managing operation, people know better. And each and every small entrepreneur, medium-sized entrepreneur, they are the leaders of in their own industry. They manage industry pretty well, but the sensitivity to on the people aspect has become more, and we need to be little more careful. Why little more? We need to be very sensitive towards the people need. So this is the third aspect, taking care of people, besides corona, besides safety, taking care of people, adjusting themselves to the need, and managing the business operation, so that together with the team, keeping, whether you call it they're keeping the moral high or keeping in touch with them and managing the work, I think that will give confidence and the success to overcome whatever challenges we have to the best extent possible, if not 100%, but reasonably, to a good degree. And as and when we increase our operation or we start our operation, whatever challenges, I think people are, much matured and very knowledgeable and very experienced to see. And for that, probably, there is no need for me to emphasize so much how they can run their operation. They know they are the masters of their business and operating very well so long, and continue to operate very well in the times to come in the midst of this challenge. So I think these are the main things. And now I think Q&A, you can start. Unless
Thanks a lot.
something
Thanks a lot, sir, for the core three principles. So, coming back to the deep dives on these three principles. So, my first question to you is, how has been your experience in implementing these, social distancing norms? Because, as you said, that Corona abhi tak gaya nahi hai, and it is, we have to adjust to this new way of working. So, what are your key lessons specifically towards the new social distancing norms on the shop floor? And can you share, your ways or your learnings in implementing these safety norms and these SOPs?
So they are simple, but it requires greater attention, more focus from the senior. It should not be a delegated activity to the people, number one. First, second point is, right from the gate entry, we need to be particular about taking care of all the symptoms of corona, like, we see temperature scanning, then ensuring that people enter only with mask. And third, all your business processes, working process, plant operation are conducted in such a way that no two, three people sit together, talk together, whether it is canteen, whether it is shop floor, whether it is, so all that things, social distancing has to be there. And there has to be a strict caution to the people that no people unnecessarily, if there is a work requirement, then only they need to join hands and two, three people have to work together. Otherwise, they need to maintain at the workplace the social simple दो गज की दूरी बना के रखना. That is important. And repeatedly, people at the shop floor, instead of monitoring the operation, they need to be monitor the people adhering this rule. So these are few things which we need to be doing. Now, another aspect which is coming, in all these 3, 4, 5 months, we have matured ourselves, and all these practices must be there in most of the industry. If not, they need to institutionalize the thermal scanning, the oximeter checking, and people. So this is one. Now the people who are coming from outside, whether it is supplier, whether it is contractor, whether it is transporter, whether it is truck driver, we need to be sensitive about it. So our people should not be getting unnecessarily in touch with them. They need to maintain the social distancing. They need to be ensuring the hygiene part, cleaning, sanitizing part, and also advocating for those people, right from outside supplier, outside visitors, outside contractor, outside truck drivers, or whosoever are the outsiders, because the things would come now from outsiders. Because we don't know how they are, what they are doing, ensuring, and who are there in the nearby areas. So these are the few things which we need to do. At the shop floor, I think even in the small scale industries, what we are practicing here, even in the small scale or medium size industry, unnecessary movement on the shop floor from one floor to another floor or one place to another place should be restricted. Only if it is required, then people should be allowed. If it is not required, then people should not move just for the sake कि टाइम है तो मैं वहां चले गया, उससे बात कर ली, उसके साथ में बैठ के थोड़ी देर बात करके आ गया. एंड जितना भी सैनिटाइजेशन और जैसे ये आजकल सैनिटाइजेशन इज ये जो हैंड सैनिटाइजर, it is easily available. It can be very low cost and it can be made or it can be procured. But I think that habit has to come in and has to set in the people that they need to कोई भी surface को touch करो, कोई भी चीज करो, before they put their hands on the mask and any other place, mouth, then they need to sanitize. It is easily available. At least people can keep a small sanitizer bottle in their pocket and they can make use of. So this habit they need to practice more, because this is not going to be for 1 month or 2 months. It is going to be for few more months. And we need to have this habit and more. It is a self-discipline, not, ऊपर वाले को तो ध्यान रखना, सुपरवाइजर को ध्यान रखना, शॉप फ्लोर इंचार्ज को ध्यान रखना. Even the entrepreneur or the owner has to keep all these things in mind, because for him these are important things. Rest is secondary, because if people are available, people are coming, people are having a continuity, then your operation succeed. If people are not coming and they are not coming and they could not because of XYZ reasons, and XYZ reasons is more corona, so then entire operation becomes stick. So these are one. And second, I think beside this entry rules and these three basic, another thing which is becoming important is, uh, how people is this travel ka jo bhi hota hai, travel rules, people coming, they need to be taking care. And the corona rules of the local government is also need to be adhered to, because then over depending upon this, somewhere some aaj ki tarikh mein bhi containment zone is still practiced. So people coming from containment zone, particularly in cities like, big cities, category 1 cities, category 2 cities, and metro cities, this problem is there. It is not 100% free. Containment zones are there. So we need to be having a good knowledge of people, from where they're coming, what is the condition of their area, from where they're coming in, what care or attention we can do, because so many people have to commute. It is not local industry. In the big industry, there is a township, there is a colony, people are staying. That is a different. But in the city, in the big towns, people have to come from their houses. They are living in some areas, and it is people have to take care of that. So people have to see from where they are coming, what are the rules, what precautions, because if most of the people are turning out to be asymptomatic, but asymptomatic are also infectious. So people have to be worried about for all these small symptoms. As a body, they need to understand. As a body, they need to identify. Nobody should be encouraged to come, even if he has the slightest of any ailment like, flu or temperature or this. They should be asked to take rest in their home, and they should only come if they are fine. So these are the things which they are all part of social distancing, all part of corona basic care. But these are few important things which all industries, small, big, owner or manager or whatever people, they need to be making it topmost priority, and all this attention has to be given.
So thanks a lot on the precautions part, and it was really helpful. So the next questions is कि during this corona, sir, workforce जो है वो limited रखनी पड़ती है, because we have to maintain the social distancing norms. So उस टाइम पे हम throughput को कैसे manage करें, because और production को किस तरह optimize करें. अलग अलग शिफ्ट्स में पहले होता था कि जनरल शिफ्ट में ज्यादा लोग हुआ करते थे. नाउ व्हाट इज योर लर्निंग इन रैशनलाइजिंग द पीपल इन डिफरेंट शिफ्ट्स, और किस तरह विद लेसर पीपल इन एवरी शिफ्ट हाउ डू यू मैनेज कि वो जो थ्रूपुट है, वो जो प्रोडक्शन है, वो सही से आए. नाउ द अदर एडिशनल चैलेंज ओवर हियर इज कि हाउ टू मेंटेन द सेफ्टी in this scenario when the people are less.
So I will answer the first question, and safety I will come a little later. I think सबसे पहले again the actions and the intensity was different initially, because first is the government has made the restriction that so many people will not come, containment zone. So it was very difficult. Even people wanted it, and there was a fear and anxiety. So we have seen the rush of people, moving towards the town or their villages, moving from cities, and that has created a sudden shortage and vacuum of availability of people. So assuming, I think that challenges is still somewhere existing, but assuming that operation like cleaning, all that, we don't want it should be full of filthy places, and not that, but necessary critical operation has to be taken care first, and rest is all. That is one. Then accordingly you optimize your strengths, you optimize your numbers. Some of the non-critical activities or one-time activity which can be delayed, not at a, not significantly over a period, it was all the previous months, we have delayed it, or we can delay that because it is not impacting your operation. They were all one time activity which can probably can wait for 1 month 2 months delay. But now the things have changed. People, operations are returning to normalcy. All people, whether all operations like maintenance or necessary operation, which were once upon a time were not critical, have become critical because it has been stopped for 4, 5, 6 months. And a manufacturing industry, unless it is a batch-wise mode, it cannot remain stopped for a long time. It has to come. Otherwise, it has other issues. So this is what, people have to optimize their operations. People have to focus on the critical operation, manage the strengths, and then productivity improvement. That has to be focused. Well, minimum number of possible numbers, whatever best numbers we need to see. But those numbers should be such that we are taking care of them. They are becoming regular. They should not come with all the symptoms and they should not infect people. Because if one people infect, there could be 5, 10, because what we are saying contact, that is the theory and that is the critical thing which we need to focus on, because that has given us a confidence that we can contain it. If our all people are focused on the primary contact and secondary contact, besides secondary contact, primary contact is very important. यदि कोई भी एक आदमी संक्रमित होता है, infectious होता है, we need to understand which are the primary contact. Their contact and their family members, both are relevant and both are important. If we can catch, if we can, manage it well, probably the continuity of people coming in our plant will be better. And this, so this is first lesson. Second, people have adopted different practices, extended working hours, giving overtime. Some of the, plants were not allowing overtimes as a good work practices. But in this mahol, because of the less number of people, that flexibility some people have taken wherever critical and wherever required, depending upon the criticality. Some of the operations have changed. Like you mentioned, general shift versus A shift, B shift. People have fine-tuned which operations from general shift to A shift or B shift or C shift it can be spread after rationalizing the work to be done with limited number of people. So that is also possible, and that's social distancing. Too many people coming in general shift is also not desired. So people have dispersed their, their work team into A shift, B shift. That is one way to manage the social distancing in the plant and to reduce the number of people coming at one point of time. So these are some of the facilities and some of the methods people have adopted, and they are practical. And it has been seen that, they are successful. They do not disrupt it. Another way could be multi-skilling. We believe probably, this worker is doing this job, but then there are quite a few good workmen, good staff who have been doing a routine job, but they can do the next level jobs, different jobs. So we need to allow them to do, but with the care that they need to be supervised properly. They need to be told about what care they need to do, and under the supervision guidance, some of the people, not many, whosoever are capable, we can provide them. And that is another way to manage, the limited people or the sudden absence because of they are getting corona infected outside, and we get a news that my area become containment zone. So many people, one person came in the primary contact of 5. So all 6 people have to be sent on leave on for home isolation. So that reduces. But in terms of that, 5 लोग home isolation में चल जाएंगे, मेरा plan कैसे चलेगा, तो इसका कुछ हुआ नहीं, इसका थोड़ा सा symptom आने दो. I think that is not desirable. That we need to be taking it. So we need to spread all the critical resources into different shift. विषय कि यदि 4 लोग एक ही जनरल शिफ्ट में इंपॉर्टेंट लोग आते हैं, तो वी कैन से कि दे कैन कम, बिकॉज इट इज अ टेम्पररी पीरियड फॉर फ्यू मंथ्स. So this is how people can manage a workforce while managing the corona threats and the concerns or the urgency, and still managing the operation and running the operation at whatever level they would like to. But it has to start from top to bottom, not bottom to top. Everyone has to be supporting and flexible in helping each other to make this operation well, because owner है, mid size entrepreneur है, उनका तो मेन इंश्योर करना है कि उनका काम अच्छे से चले. बट आज उनके भी साथ में जो एम्प्लॉइज हैं, उनके लिए भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, बिकॉज वो अच्छे से रहे, अच्छे से करे, दे कैन सर्वाइव, दे कैन अर्न देयर लाइवलीहुड, एंड देन दे कैन continue with their family and this. So together it is important. And all these people, when we are proposing and when we recommend, the good point is people reach to this. There is hardly a significant resistance. If they feel that there is a support, there is a guidance, and all the management, all so-called senior management, junior management, at any level of management, they are working together with a view to manage that operation successfully and carefully with respect to corona in a healthy manner. So these are the few things which people can look into it.
Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, a question आया है.
Second point was on safety.
Safety, yeah.
I think safety, it is not so different. The only attention is when we are busy with other aspect of the things, we need to continuously remain focused on safety also. It is not कि safety secondary category में आ गया, पहले आदमी का हो गया, कोरोना केयर हो गया और काम चालू है, कम भी आए तो डेल दिया. If a person is not suitable for that work, then he should not be exposed to that risk. And if he is getting the work done, then somebody has to supervise him properly, help him, guide him, and then get the work done. Not, he should not be left to on his own, and then he runs a risk of accident or some injury or this. So the sensitivity towards safety, whether corona or no corona, whether COVID-19 or no COVID-19, it was there earlier, but it has become more because the priorities should not change. But the first priority is on this, so that the continuity of people is there. Whosoever comes, they need to be working safe. And if both the things are, then the operation will automatically be running, and people will be, because everyone is interested to manage that operation well for their own survival, for the organization survival. And if organization survives, everyone survives. So this is the spirit.
Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, a question आया है Mr. Mahendra Rathi से, and he is saying कि पहले के टाइम पे when एक typical owner-driven company में, the senior management was taking care of both operations and the business development. But in the current scenario, as each department is requiring more and more focus, the bandwidth at the senior level is strained. So one challenge which SMEs are facing is hiring like-minded people at senior position. So what would be your response to Mr. Rathiji, on this domain?
I think at this point of time, hiring senior management or senior manager, I won't say that we are that becomes a priority. But whatever is, whether one is an entrepreneur, owner, or this, or whosoever are the people, they have been working with them for the last several years or for quite some period. So I think they will still be available. They will still be doing good job. What requires is little more of confidence, little more of trust, little more of handholding support, little more of guidance. What is normally not provided, which should be provided, and we should help them out to reach. But you say that there is a bandwidth difference, probably, when all people work together, reaching out to people to the extent they require help, I think we can still tide over. And if people are in a position to recruit people, hire people just to manage this, probably then it is for them, they can always do that. But I think this is a tough time for everyone. So falling back on new people, engaging them, recruiting them, I I did not hear that it is more practiced. People have to come, whatever resource, because containment of, whether you say cost management, this is also one of the thing, whatever thing which we want to spend on some of the people, extra caliber and bandwidth. I think given an opportunity, given a support, given some sort of whatever help, extra help, of course the senior person has to spend more time, but I feel it will help and people rise to this occasion and reasonably well, and there is an extra work, no doubt, and it all depends on what competence, what strength, what required support, who else. But I've given an example. Even a workman can be senior workman, experienced workman can have an hand holding, and he can do a little better job of an engineer, not significant but higher job, but some job probably which we will normally in a position to delegate to or given to a shift in charge. So such type of situations are there, at least for this emergency period or this difficult period.
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. There is one more thing ki, because of COVID, a lot of businesses are seeing sudden demand shifts. और इसके कारण आपका जो ऑपरेशंस में जो प्रोडक्ट पोर्टफोलियो है इसके ऊपर भी बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट आता है, स्पेशली इन डाउनस्ट्रीम काइंड ऑफ बिजनेसेस. सो and इसका impact not only on the operations but it is also on the inventory side, how to manage the inventory of the goods which are in demand. So sir, the question is ki, what has been your experience and what is the key learning that you could share on this aspect of managing your production as well as inventory when the demand shift suddenly changes?
I think it's a interesting point and good question, and it is the real challenge in the business in the current environment. So I think in my own way, what I can say is in this time, everyone's focus, and people will agree with me, cash is important. So people have to worry and keep in mind the cash, the liquidity, looking into the operations, whatever, after taking care of the people. So people have to be there to manage the operation. Cash has to be there to continue the operation. And because otherwise there is some or the other pressure coming from other. So now, because of the demand shift, there may be a demand shift, or some of the industries are not working at 100% capacity. The utilization of the requirement or the demand requirement goes down. It is slowly picking up. That is another point. But it is not that so comfortable. It has reached 200, except few segments and few areas. So I think we need to quickly adapt to the situation, but we need to have some sort of a proactive forecasting, remaining in touch with the customer, understanding more about the market, the demand pattern, who is working, what is happening, what is not working, and quickly adjusting to it, howsoever it is. But if it helps in managing the cash flow, managing the inventory, reducing the production, reducing the cost, and making from instead of 3 shift to 1 shift or 2 shift or whatever operation, whichever way, all that aspects become important to take the best out of the current situation and to reduce the cost. Cost reduction means जो higher cost होती थी उसको कैसे नीचे लाए, because it is not reducing cost, it is managing the cost in a optimal manner in the given situation. It may be little higher than the normal situation, but sometimes it may be working out as good as equal to, or sometimes little marginal, but not significantly high. In the month of April, May, June, probably the cost of working, whosoever managed that operation, it would have been much higher. But in the current period, people would have brought it down to a reasonable level and a good level, but definitely it would not be as cost efficient as in the normal course one would have achieved it. So this is one, but still the focus on operational excellence, because machine driven process and all these things, the machine is not changing, the accuracy is not changing. People have to remain focused, adopting the quality. So with this, I think the demand shift, one has to be proactive. One has to remain in touch with his customers as well as suppliers, both, because suppliers I will touch later. But from the market side, from the demand side, people have to know, and whatever flexibility people can do within their existing processes, they need to think about it. One cannot be कि ये तो हम करते ही आए हैं, यही करते हैं, कभी नहीं किया, कभी अचीव नहीं किया, तो आज कैसे कर लेंगे? In this difficult time, one of the thing which we have seen umpteen examples that crisis breeds innovation. And we have seen in many difficult situations which we would not have done it, our own team members, same people, same one, they have attempted it, they have successfully done it. So this is the good word which it's you can replicate it, you can apply it, and we will find answers. कि crisis breeds innovation, and innovation is not a forte of one or two people. Innovation is together we can make it happen, howsoever small it is, to the extent we can. We cannot install new machines, we cannot install new thing, but whatever we can do with little more changes, if it is suiting to the customer, by changing it. And of course we need to remain constantly in touch with our customers, seeing that that relationship is very important. That relationship should be continued, should be remain proactive to their business requirement, how they are improving, what they are improving, what they can do. And to some extent we need to be focused around our pricing, market condition. So these are standard ways of managing the situation, not any specific. Because of this, people have seen whatever we have done in the recession period or slowdown period, all those things would be applicable on the demand set pattern side, adjusting to the possibilities, switching to that, being comfortable. But together we can say कि yes, we can do it, and somebody has to apply it constantly and make it happen with speed, but not delegating it to the people. कर दो हो जाएगा, उसको भी involve होना पड़ेगा, दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा. Together कुछ हो सकता है तो जरूर कर सकते हैं, but होता है. And small things people, and this is a good example. Sanitizer, who could think that sanitizer would be a big industry by itself? And small things people have done, and people have found ways of managing it. So there are umpteen example in an industry like ours. We have seen many examples, and which otherwise would have been not possible because of the continuous operation, because of the other things. But it has provided that the machines are not working, we can do something better with limited number of people and workmen, by putting our people, because we cannot have engineers from outside, we cannot have engineers from suppliers, they cannot come. But we need to be talking. कई चीज जो हम कर सकते हैं, हमारे लोग कर सकते हैं, उसको अटेम्प्ट करना पड़ेगा by taking the help over telephone, over WhatsApp from the supplier. So these are the ways and means of managing it. Similarly, coming on the inventory part, this is of the finished goods inventory. We need to be taking care of inventory. What is lying, what is there, people should not be concerned about कि मेरा price drop होके कुछ करूंगा नहीं करूं, रहने दो, पड़े रहने दो. If there is a market, they can liquidate it. I think to manage and to focus on the cash, we need to take care of that aspect also. So this is how to liquidate, how to do that on the inventory. This will all address around the liquidity part and the cash part. The second part is on the procurement. If you want to run that operation, even if you have demand, but if you can't run the operation successfully within these challenges and within this constraint, whether you have a demand or you don't have a demand, you cannot maintain it, because your plant breaks down, and there are breakdown is so much, it takes few months to correct it, or few months, because the supplies are dried down, the suppliers are not working properly, their capacities are less. Then some of the spare parts which are critical, which takes, and if there are some imported, then there are severe problems. So we need to be taking care on those aspects, again on proactive basis, attempting something on repair and operate practices to the extent one can, by putting all that mind and ingenuity and doing. So this, I think these are not too many complicated things. It is normal way of our Indian mind, our Indian entrepreneurship. They will apply, they will do, and they will overcome this. But these are important. So being proactive, planning inventory well, planning, doing all the preventive maintenance well in time, to the extent one can do with the available manpower, but taking care of the equipment, not ignoring it. Otherwise, there is a sudden stoppage, sudden breakdown, sudden restriction, and then even if there is a demand, it will take time. And then we have to forego the demand, or we have to forego the customer requirement. So these are important things. Supplier relationship is also equally important. Planning of your inputs are also important, including stores, spare parts, raw material, and we need to appreciate that the lead time is little higher now. It is not the normal lead time. जो पहले 15 दिन थी वो 30 दिन हो गई, जो 30 दिन थी वो 45 दिन है. कोई imported यदि 60 दिन में आता था तो हो सकता है 90 दिन में मिले, 120 दिन में मिले. So we need to be more proactive, we need to be planning, and if we get some symptom, we need to be thinking how we will manage in case if something happens or goes bad. So these are the care and proactive steps, and planning is required to manage this overall situation.
Sir, thanks a lot. And so a follow-up question on this has come from J.S. Lakotia ji. He is asking ki, can you throw some light on financial and operations KPI, and which have been modified for sustenance during this period? An example, one or two examples on, how have you modified the KPIs will be very helpful for the audience.
See, I think people would have known the priority which I have been talking about and the emphasis what has been given. In my operational and all that KPIs, I said it stands third in the priority. So the KPIs and all the things remain same, because if it is a manufacturing process, we have seen the entire supply chain, entire value chain, starting from raw material to finished goods. We have seen the priority, the cash is the priority, the people are the priority, availability of people, and the safety and precaution that also impacts the availability and the care, and other something, significant happens, then it is. So something we need to be developing on the KPIs on those fronts. How many people are coming up, how many people are getting infected, which zone is getting impacted, what are the how many contract tracing, whatever systems we have institutionalized, whether they are running effectively or not. There is a checking process. All levels of people should be looking into it, whether it is effectiveness is there or not. It is just not telling कि ऐसा कर लेना, होना है, क्या चाहिए बता देना. वो तो बहुत मोटी चीज हो गई, बड़ी चीज हो, उससे बोलने से नहीं. People have to be in it. And rest of the other KPIs, working capital, we said, not too much working capital should be is a idle. हम ऐसा कोई चीज नहीं बनाए कि बना लें बिना करके और फिर आगे और फिर हम सोच रहे हैं कि इसको बेचो और ये पड़ा ही रह गया. सो आई थिंक बनाने से पहले सोचे, बनाने से पहले देखें, इन्वॉल्व रहें, थोड़ा कंफर्म रहें जितना भी लोगों का है, और लोगों को बताते रहें कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं. I think if those things around design, those KPIs are nothing, new one. They are all conventional, traditional, effective, which all people are monitoring, much more better than the large industries, because large industries mein to we have to depend on the system, on the processes, on the people at different levels. But in the small and medium size, most of the things are controlled in a very few people hand, 4, 5, 10, 20 people, and they can be looking into it, but they need to be spending time and they need to be more proactive and telling in advance and controlling it. So to this question is say ki, are there any new KPIs which we developed? The focus has been increased on those focus, whatever KPIs we have, whether on liquidity, whether on working capital, whether on aging, whether on, because production cycle will not change. It has to pass through in the same fashion because it's a manufacturing requirement. But if there may be certain things which you need to sometimes dilute it, like somebody once and say, ki, I will not give overtime, but here you need to give overtime, but you need to monitor overtime. Unnecessarily, I say it has to be all value add. So long as it is adding value, you are satisfied, then there is no issue on that. But if it is not adding value, people are just coming and we are not taking care because it is, we are not interested, we are just left to the people, then probably we need to have our own mechanism of control, periodically interacting, not allowing people to do their job, allowing people to empower them, but helping them, reviewing them, not with the view to giving instruction, but with the view to helping them that they organize and they do their best and they do their whatever best they can do or whatever help we can provide to them. So I hope this question, this answer gives the to the question.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Any learnings that the audience can have on your experience in the cost reduction drive? What impact it had on the employee morale? and your overall repairs and maintenance activities. So yeah,
I
yeah,
think on the cost reduction and employee morale, there are two different aspects. One, if we are saying the cost reduction from the viewpoint of cost of production, in some heads there would be certain increases, because if you take, like, if you are providing extra care to the people by putting some extra arrangement for conveyance, for the convenience, instead of making them to come in whatever may, and they are getting exposed to the risk, so some sort of this, that would be adding to the cost. But people should not, refrain from incurring that cost, because it is going to help, and these are going to improve the morale of the people also, because they feel that organization, the owner is taking care for them. So conveyance arrangement, taking some safety, providing in case of need, if suppose somebody requires some help, though it is not normal, and we can rely on them, and they are trustworthy and they are credible people, not कि पैसा लिए भाग जाएंगे, उस तरह के लोग नहीं, but जो आपके साथ में committed हैं, जो आपके साथ में जुड़े हुए हैं, यदि उनकी कोई तकलीफ है उसका ध्यान रखना प्रोएक्टिवली ज्यादा, तो all small help, small extended help will improve the morale. But sometimes it may increase the cost of, maybe transport cost, maybe increase cost, maybe थोड़ा बहुत जब recognition और reward कुछ देते हैं, छोटा मोटा भी करें, but it is more of an appreciation and sympathy or empathy towards them, to meet these needs towards their family, towards taking care, talking to them, reaching out to them. So that is helping them, and that provides a confidence to them. अब कई केयर होती है कि भाई किसी को है कि मेरे को बुखार है, मेरी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, बट उसको थोड़ा सा हेल्पिंग हैंड करें, उसका तरफ ध्यान दें. इट में ऐड टू द कॉस्ट, इट में इंक्रीज द कॉस्ट, बट दैट इंक्रीज cost is, we should be doing it, because it will have an impact on moral, provided those people are your loyal people. They have been doing work for you since years, so we need to be respectful to them in this small category. So such type of increase in cost will be there, and people should be looking at it, whatever help to the needy people, both medical, non-medical, and whatever they want it. Second is communication to them, कि in these difficult times, we more about their health, their family, and this don't go, because this is the next challenge which we are going to face, or festive or non-festive period which are going to come. So whatever we were doing little better, but now this, with the opening up, with the festive period coming, setting in, people will tend to move, people will tend to go out, more people will tend to their houses because of that, so-called celebration, Diwali, Dashera, and all that. So whatever conditions we could see during Ganesh Puja in Maharashtra or and different parts of the world, that was under, different condition, lockdown, severity. Now it is unlocking. People are there. So we need to be taking care, communicating to them, talking to them, reaching out to the family, advising them not to go if not critical, and facilitating. So this is one part on morale part. To some extent it will help, and some extent it will help to reduce the absenteeism at our end and many other things. But looking to other aspect of the efficiency point, if we are proactive, if we are taking care, if we are taking care of small actions for repairs, maintenance, overall making availability, not postponing, not caring, and suddenly machine breakdown, it will be more costly. It will be both time wise, production wise, cost wise. So all that thing we need to be taking care to the extent one can. To the extent it is not ki 100% you can do, because at the same time we need to manage the people, that presence and availability. It is not ki people are available. In some places people are also not available. People workforce is also not available because of containment zone, because of their own fear, because they don't have this. There are several factors which impacts the availability of people. So managing the workforce with the available people and looking into all this. So maintenance part I covered. Operation parts, I think machine wise, whatever operation we need to do, we need to do. And second, wastage, whatever wastage we incur, we need to remain focused, so that wastages, operational wastages, material wastages, that should require extra care. So these are, instead of cutting costs, these are the things which will help to reduce costs to the extent. So any type of wastage, attention towards this, to the extent one can manage, we need to remain focused around it. and all the other part of it, inventory, what we have discussed, that is all adding to the cost which we can see. But there could be some costs which would be higher, but we need to manage through efficiency to the extent. And एक और point होगा कि now once we remain focused on value add, if we see that there are some, not on the quantity, but on the bottom line, value addition, contribution, wherever there is a high contribution or high product profitability, we need to focus more, provided there is a demand. But if there is a demand, there is a limited demand, even if there is a little low production and it is not so critical to maintain that production, then we can see how can I optimize the production so that I produce where there is a good demand or reasonable demand, there is a good profit. With less manpower, I can focus. With less machine time, I can focus. So all this requires an operational excellence that will become more important to give focus and to achieve our objective of managing the cost. Coming on the specific aspect of morale, so remaining in touch with the people, reaching out to them in their times of need, whatever small, you cannot maintain the entire need, and nobody expects that we should meet their entire requirement, all that thing. People expect, some people may expect, but nobody can do 100% of that. But remaining sensitive to this small area, if there is some illness, some problem, because illness could happen anyway. So whatever people can think, there are different mechanisms people have resorted to in different size of the operation. Some have got taken new insurance policy. Some have talked, if not insurance, some have given, some loan facility. It all depends on the nature of the organization, requirement of the people, what practices you have. Large industries will be having different, medium industries may be having different, small will be having different, and their networking, their working together, their own level of commitment, and people are doing whatever best people can do in this, ensuring that the, food availability, which was there, the necessity during the earlier months or April, May, June, at that time, whatever, empathy or whatever support we had given, that is going a long way to the people. But this small attack, then taking care of their health, saying कि come, inspect, temperature check करो, बात करो कि भाई अपने मास्क लगाओ, ensuring मास्क लगाना, घर वालों के साथ में टच में रहना, बच्चों को बोलना बैठे नहीं, बात नहीं करें. But in the cities it is very difficult because everyone lives in the different places, different colonies, different setup, but talking to them through their male employees or through their family, whichever way, people have used different ways of communication. WhatsApp, बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से लोग बाग पहुंच पाते हैं और reach हो जाते हैं. But remaining in touch with the people in case of need, that is important, and that gives a morale and encouraging whosoever is doing good work, whosoever is coming to work, and whosoever is doing whatever best they can do in the given situation. I think we should not be falling short of recognizing them, appreciating them, and the financial reward is something different, and people can reach out to the different ways to the extent they can, but at least this portion they should be doing more and more. The senior people, owner driven, entrepreneur driven, they themselves do it. It will not have any other comparable matching empathy or rewards. It will carry it will boost morale, and of course it has to be reflected from self. It is not नीचे वाले से तो reflect हो रहा, ऊपर वाले से नहीं कर रहा. I think to that extent थोड़ा सा balance बना के रखना पड़ेगा कि it has to be seen together and taking together for all levels of people, not only few levels of people. Worker is as equally important than the middle management, than the senior management or this, but everyone should get. And fortunately, worker expects in his own capacity, other people will expect in that, but nobody expects too much in the given situation. They require basic things to support. This is what my take is on this. How we can manage the morale of the people, support, talking good, creating hope, and ensuring that there is a hope, and taking the last action on the people, cutting their salary, not paying them in time, removing them, that is the last. To the extent you can reduce, you can do, but saying कि कुछ नहीं देंगे, नहीं है पैसा, नहीं कर सकते, तुम जानो तुम्हारा कहाँ. I think that type of attitude should be, जितना avoid कर सके, but जितना हम facilitate कर सके with less number of people and the right people, I think it will go a long way. How to do, what to do, I think the entrepreneur, the industrialists who are running that business, they know very well, and they can do much better than what I am talking and and they must be doing all the way by this time, because it is 5 6 months. And if they are managing it, they are not managing without doing anything in this. They must have done quite a few good things, and I recommend that they should continue doing this, and with this thoda sa liberal mindset and support, and making it hopeful and genuine hope कि yes, we will come out, we will survive, things would be continued to कि not if superior, but at least as good as in a few months' time. And till that time, we will survive. Together, we will survive. This hope will give. And this is, I think, this is more than managing the moral. What else? There may be many things, but some of the point which is coming to my mind spontaneously, I am highlighting it.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. So a few questions on the supply chain aspect have come. That uh, during this pandemic, what problems did you face in the distribution and logistics? Uh, and how have you addressed those?
I think again, as I said in the beginning, I did cover in this period, many aspects on logistics, supply chain. The initial first 2 months was very difficult, particularly road movement, not rail movement. Rail movement, bulk movement was fortunately good. The government was managing, rather it was the rake turnaround was faster. The ports operation was continuing, that was help. So for a large industries, it was used, those bulk industry, large industries who can cater and who have got the arrangement for loading rakes and managing receiving goods by rakes, it is good bulky raw materials. But for transport, road transport, I think the in a big industry and medium size or whatever size industry, the inventory policy of the organization came to a big help by this sudden. Those people who maintain a reasonable inventory of stores, spare parts, raw material, they did not come to this pressure quickly. They had some time, 15 days period, 20 days period, 30 days period to survive, largely a common item. But those who were having hand to mouth situation, they had miserable time. So this was the big for us. I think our procurement planning, our inventory planning, our way of stocking, not in because of this onset of this, even in the normal course we are following it. So that came as a handy, very you know uh, comfortable situation to manage the immediate situation of 10, 15, 21 month period. And simultaneously, we started taking stock of the situation of the suppliers. And suddenly it was all over the country. Some areas, main suppliers were dependent. They were not also operating because of the government restriction. So such problems we did face, but we tried to manage by remaining proactive. We said ki our stock is for 15 days, our stock is for 20 days or 1 month. What we can do? We started looking at different places, who can be and what it can be. If it is a input, then we could source it from different, because road movement, and fortunately road movement did not remain restrictive for a longer period. The interstate movement were allowed after few days, after a month or so, with some restrictions. So people were, and then we used the transporters network by remaining in touch, tracking the movement, whatever means we have on telephone, talking, kahan tak pahuncha, kab pahuncha, kitna stock hai, kab aane wala hai, and keeping in touch with those suppliers कि आपके यहाँ क्या situation, आपका प्लान चालू है क्या, कब चालू हो रहा है, कितना आपके पास स्टॉक है, कब चालू, ये सब चीजें प्रोएक्टिव का जो मैंने टच किया, that were all required. And we had some, but we overcome. And fortunately, there would be some marginal impact in some places because of government restriction on people coming, turnout of the people. वो जो उसके कारण से जो भी operation impact कुछ जगह हुए, कुछ जगह नहीं हुए, we could survive with less manpower, with proper planning, whatever we said. So many people on continuous process, because these processes are continuous process industries. Once continuous process cannot be stopped and switch on switch off nahi ho sakta. So somehow we need to manage, and only in the last resort यदि कुछ नहीं होता, then of course we need to take proper care and then stop the plant. That is a normal way in continuous process industries work on it. So this was the constraint, but we all did manage, and together, and a constant review was there. Inventory, सप्लायर कहाँ से आ रहा, कुछ इंपोर्टेड थे, कुछ लोकल थे, इंपोर्टेड है, तो कीपिंग ए ट्रैक, ensuring कि ये लेट होने वाला है, हाउ डू वी सस्टेन आवर ऑपरेशंस, यदि कोई पार्ट्स है वो आने में टाइम लगने वाला है तो उसको कैसे करें, कैसे रिपेयर करके रखें, ऑल दैट एडवांस प्लानिंग in the minds of the people, engineer, all were incorporated, and somehow we survived. Now the situation is very comfortable. It is all movements are regular, trucks are regular, transport for the last 2-3 months. We are not having any problem for any corner of the world, any corner of the country. Of course, in transit time, shipment time is little higher. It is not as efficient as it, but it is much better than what it was in April and May. So things have changed, things have improved, and but still the focus on in managing inventory, keeping little high inventory for critical raw material, critical spare, critical consumer, not depending on just in time concept, because nobody can work on that. So all these things care, and these are the challenges. But now the transportation situation has improved significantly, but it takes little longer time. Lead time is higher, but it is not that higher which is used to be, say in the month of April and in the month of May.
Thanks a lot, sir. Really helpful answer. See, the last question I have got is on the demand forecasting. So, given the sudden shifts in the distribution pattern, as you know, some of the sectors are performing really very well, while others are in the peril. So, accordingly, the distribution network also has changed significantly. So, during this time, how do you forecast demand, and how do you do your planning?
It all depends on the nature of the industry. Our way of planning, our way of doing, our capabilities are different, our markets are different, our products are different, our the way to respond challenges are different. So it all depends on industry to industry, segment to segment. But demand forecasting, there is, for us also, there is no published data ki demand is going. We need to be in touch with the industry, consuming segment, एंड जितना हम क्लोजली रहेंगे टच में, उनसे पता चलता रहता है कि क्या चीज हो रही है, क्या नहीं हो रही. और सडनली थोड़ा बहुत है कि यहाँ पर पहले तो फिजिकल मार्केटिंग होती थी, लोग जाते थे, घूमते थे, मिलते थे. अब इन दिस द मेजर चेंजेस, वो सब काम होता है बट इट इज ऑनलाइन. कोई मोबाइल पर करता है, कोई व्हाट्सएप पर करता है, कोई जूम पर करता है. सब मैकेनिज्म, एंड पीपल आर हैबिचुएटेड, पीपल आर अकस्टम्ड टू इट, एंड पीपल आर डूइंग all the things, right from in our size of operation, in every, almost, why I say our size of operation, many industries, because of the support of the government, because of the support of the banking, the flexibility in their system, whatever they include, and the technology, whatever has come in, whether it is Zoom or whether it is Team or Microsoft, or many things have come, and people are habituated, they have quickly adjusted their processes, allowed this, and things continue. The government has changed some of the processes, provided the flexibilities, given the concession to the extent one can. So बहुत चीजें हुई और बहुत चीजें कारण से simplify हुआ. So what was your question? I think I lost it.
Forecasting of the demand.
Forecasting. So this solution was, and the thing is, depending upon the industry, the need is remaining in touch with the customer and quickly adopting and changing the segment. Somewhere I have been supplying in this metro, in this city, but I do not. But people have to reach out, because supplies are not consistent from all corners of the company or in the country. जो अच्छे सप्लायर किसी के थे तो उनकी प्रॉब्लम होगी, जो दूसरे सप्लायर्स हैं तो वहां पर है. सडनली फॉर एग्जांपल चाइना वंस अपॉन अ टाइम हैज टू बी द लो कॉस्ट प्रोड्यूसर, बट नहीं हुआ. अब चाइना में सप्लाई नहीं है, इंपोर्टेड खराब हो गया, ये तो पीपल हैव एडजस्टेड टू लोकल डोमेस्टिक क्विकली, दे एडजस्टेड द प्रोसेस. उसी तरह से इंडिया में साउथ से कोई मटेरियल आता था और साउथ से नहीं आ रहा है तो हम नॉर्थ से ले रहे हैं, बिकॉज इफ द प्रोसेस इज देयर एंड द सप्लाई इज वर्किंग. So all that quick changes, and people who are in the industry, they know where the demand is coming, which market and how. So there has to be a quick adaptation, and there has to be a quick flexibility and some concession in the price, or flexibility in the prices, or all that thing, because the objective is not achieving the great amount of profitability. Objective is survive with the reasonable profitability to sustain their operation and their people and the operation. I think that is problem. And once they become all that thing, and then they start adding to their volumes, improving the profitability, nothing like it, because that is ultimately when we need to be doing. But basic change is somehow to come out from this problem, and by managing and by running their operation to a reasonable level. And so this is the way in which people have to be so constant, being in touch with the different customer, not necessarily your existing customer, looking to different segments, whatever you can cater, whatever you can provide, looking to the supply chain, whichever is comfortable for that area, and being touch and persuading all through on this online media. Because it is very less opportunity for people to go physically and talk, and nobody expects now, but people have to respect it, both the seller as well as the buyer, in both the capacities. I think that will provide a reasonable clue. And whatever we are hearing, the channels, the news, and वो तो बहुत सबको मालूम है क्या हो रहा है, but remaining in touch with the ultimate consuming segment, consumer and customers, whatever name you say, I think that will give a good forecasting, and that interaction will give a good amount of intelligence for us what to do and how to go about.
Thanks a lot, sir. That was our last question, and I'm very grateful to you for taking out your time from a very busy schedule. I'm very much aware of that, and uh, you're always busy with managing the plant of more than 10,000 people. So thanks a lot for guiding us. And
So in the final, I think I will once again repeat to the benefit of the people. I think कोरोना के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान दीजिएगा, सबको, अपने लोग, अपने परिवार, एम्प्लॉइज के परिवार, और उनको जरूर ये बताइएगा ये फेस्टिव सीजन है, ध्यान रखना, सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन रखना, बिकॉज फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट साइड, एक्सेप्ट कंटेनमेंट जोन, आई डू नॉट नो व्हाट इज द फोकस. गवर्नमेंट साइड से तो ओपन अप हो गया, गवर्नमेंट इज टेकिंग, दे कैन नॉट मॉनिटर, गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो टेलिंग सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन, दे आर कम्युनिकेटिंग, ब्रॉडकास्टिंग टू द एक्सटेंट दे कैन. But as an individual, as an employer, in whatever capacity, whosoever are in touch with us, for self, it should begin with self, and we need to be taking care. So this is first, and more particularly this festive season, we need to be taking care and talking to people that जितना avoid कर सको, जितना. और ये तीन जो चीज बेसिक चीज है, that is cornerstone of the thing of continuity. Rest, I think people have got all that capability together, self along with the team, to overcome, manage, and I'm sure we have done very well. And जो भी टफ पीरियड हुआ निकला, आगे भी टफ पीरियड है, but it is less tougher than what we faced. And with all this together determination, but with all this focus, I think we will survive and we will do better. So this is my last one more request and appeal to the people whosoever on this, that we should be practicing and we should be doing more and more on this front, taking small care, small need, providing them हेल्थ केयर, लाइक कोरोना टेस्टिंग कराना है, वो गवर्नमेंट से, लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से बात करनी है, उनको फैसिलिटेट कराना है, आरटीपीसीआर टेस्ट कराना, एंटीजन टेस्ट कराना, ये जो प्राइमरी कांटेक्ट का ध्यान रखना, अलाउ नहीं करना कि पास आए, ये सब चीज़ों पर ध्यान रखना अभी भी दरकार है. भले ही कितना ही खुल जाए, कितना ही सब नॉर्मल हो जाए कैसे, बट खुद का ध्यान खुद को रखना और अपने वालों का ध्यान खुद को रखना, ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है. वो अभी कुछ महीनों तक करनी है. ये नॉट कि सब हो गया, सब ठीक है, आ जाओ, बिकॉज लोगों के मन में धारणा है सब ठीक हो गया, खुल गया, कोरोना चले गया. दिस इज अनफॉर्चुनेटली ए बिलीफ सेटिंग इन द माइंड्स ऑफ द लोअर लेवल ऑफ पीपल, नॉट एजुकेटेड. बट दूसरा, ये तो अनएजुकेटेड की बात कर रहा हूँ, बट बॉम्बे और मेट्रोस में तो सब एजुकेटेड ही है, सब लोग हैं. वी हैव सीन व्हाट दे डू, हाउ दे डू, एंड it gives a pathetic view when we saw that. So this is what we need to be little more sensitive, more and more sensitive, taking extraordinary care, rest will all fall in place because everyone is applying their mind and everyone will come out
Thank
nicely.
you, sir. I now request Akanksha Rathi Maheshwari to give a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Darshit. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you are.
सबसे पहले तो थैंक यू सो मच जाजू सर, जो आपने आपका इतना कीमती टाइम आज निकाला एंड हम सबसे ये इनसाइट्स शेयर की। थिंक आपने जो बहुत अच्छे से बताया कि वी शुड नॉट फॉरगेट दैट कोरोना इज नॉट येट ओवर, दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट टेक होम मैसेज। बहुत सारी चीजें आपने यहाँ शेयर की है जो सभी एंटरप्राइजेस को, बिजनेसेस को हेल्प करेगी, जैसे कि यू राइटली सेड दैट कैश इज किंग, वी हैव टू adopt strategies to preserve cash continuously. You have to plan, do, check and act. These will go a long way. एंड आई थिंक एक बहुत ही अच्छा पॉइंट जो आपने वो भी बताया था कि जो भी प्रायोरिटाइजेशन हम कर रहे हैं, जो भी स्ट्रैटेजीज हम अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं, दे शुड कम फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम रादर देन गोइंग फ्रॉम बॉटम टू टॉप। So thank you so much, sir, for all the guidance जो भी आपने inputs आज share किए. Thank you very much. And thank you, Darshit ji, as well, who is the moderator of today's session. Thank you very much for all the question answers. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Maheshwari Vidya Pracharak Mandal, President Lahoti sir, हमारे Secretary Sushila ji, Chairman Malu ji, एंड साथ ही आज के हमारे कोऑर्डिनेटर्स विजय जी बुत्रा, सलोनी जी, थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू। एंड आप सभी को जो आज अपना संडे मॉर्निंग का टाइम निकाल कर ये वेबिनार आप सुन रहे हैं, थैंक यू वेरी मच। सभी को जय श्री कृष्णा, जय महेश।
So thank you, Akanksha, and thank you to all the young team of your scholar committee. I think very good initiative. Keep doing it and keep extending it. And the technology is helping you. And this learning session and this should continue not only during this period, later on as young scholars, and you are getting so much support and so much guidance from your seniors of this MVPM. I think that is a very good initiative. So my thanks to you, your organizing committee, all the senior members of Maheshwari Samaj and whichever mandal you call it, and all the visitors and all the people, those who have, I hope it could make some difference. They may make some points, or but thankful to them for hearing, for sparing. Yes, today being Sunday and 11 a.m. on Sunday, it is different. Had it been late in the night or afternoon, probably people normally do get up late in the morning because it is Sunday, and 11 a.m. it is as good as early hours of Sunday to hear all this so-called challenges to manage. And so very good initiative. Keep it up and keep doing good work. Thank you.
थैंक यू।
Thank you for the participants. Have a great Sunday. We will now be ending the session.
Thank you.